My wife's kept streamer tried to steal our son's new Rolls Royce. I made sure they became partners in misery. My son, Leo, got into an Ivy League university, so I bought him his first Rolls Royce. On the day we went to pick it up, some thirst-trapped streamer was already in the driver's seat, taking it for a spin. Leo was furious. "That's my car, what gives you the right to test drive it?" The streamer flashed a supplementary credit card one I'd given to my wife and said arrogantly, "My girlfriend is the CEO of Oceanic Group. I don't care how much this car costs, I'll add another $1 million." At his words, everyone in the dealership turned to look. Some even started recording with their phones. I let out a cold laugh. My son's car cost over $50 million. Was an extra $1 million supposed to impress me? Was he trying to tip a beggar? Using my money to keep a streamer, and now trying to use my money to steal my son's car? I was done with this treacherous wife. Chapter 1. The moment the car salesman heard the name Oceanic Group, he beamed and took the black card. He quickly handed over his business card. "Next time you need anything, sir, just give me a call." The streamer handed over his own card. "The name's Aiden Cole." My son was livid. He yelled at the salesman, "You have no right to do this. We waited 3 months for this car." His girlfriend is the CEO of Oceanic Group, so what? "Do you know who my dad is?" Aiden Cole shot my son a contemptuous look. "I don't give a damn who your dad is. Everyone knows the CEO of Oceanic Group is the richest person in this city. You upstarts can't even compare." Leo was about to argue further. I paused for a moment, then pulled him back, stopping him from revealing who we were. It was just bad luck. The manager who usually handled our account was off today. We had just planned to pick up the car and leave. No one expected this drama. I recognized the man. He was a thirst-trap streamer my wife, Victoria, loved to watch on social media. But I had no idea they'd hooked up offline. These two adulterous scoundrels. Today I was going to ruin them completely. I glanced around and saw people filming, some with professional-looking equipment. A cold sneer formed on my lips. So, they wanted to use my son and me as props for their clout-chasing livestream. As the crowd grew, the pretty boy became even more smug. "This car is gorgeous. I've never seen this model before. That paint job must be custom, right?" one onlooker said. "A car like this takes at least half a year from order to delivery. Imagine waiting 6 months for nothing," another chimed in. "Didn't that high school kid ask if we knew who his dad was? So, who is he?" All eyes turned to my son. Heeding my silent signal, Leo calmed his temper. He just shot a cold glare at the salesman. "It doesn't matter who my dad is. I bought this car first, so it's mine." The salesman smiled apologetically. "How about this, sir? For the 3 months you've waited, we can compensate you with $500,000. Aiden's chin was practically in the air, acting like he owned the world. Leo looked at them with icy disdain. "I don't want anything else. I just want my car." People in the crowd started trying to reason with him. "Come on, kiddo, let it go. How many people in the world make $500,000 in a month? Exactly, take the $500,000 and buy another one." But Leo stood his ground. "My dad can make millions in minutes. $500,000 isn't even enough for me to buy dinner." Aiden flew into a rage and started banging on the car. "You two upstarts are really putting on a show. Forget this car. This entire dealership belongs to Oceanic Group." Leo's face flushed with anger, and he looked ready to lunge at him. I quickly held him back. I turned to Aiden. "Go on, keep hitting it. Better yet, smash the whole thing to pieces. We'll just get a new one." Aiden was incandescent with rage. He landed 2 hard kicks on the car door. "Clang, clang, you think I don't dare? How much could this starter-level Rolls Royce possibly be worth? I've never even seen it on the market," he sneered. "If it wasn't for this cool paint job, you think I'd even want it?" With that, he kicked the front of the car again. After a few kicks, the car body was covered in dents and scratches. I laughed coldly. My wife, Victoria Blackwood, was a fool, and the toy boy she'd found was just as brainless. The reason he'd never seen it on the market was that this was the latest custom-built Rolls-Royce model. The base price was over $30 million. With modifications and special customizations, the total came to nearly $55 million. The work normally took 6 months. As VIP clients, we still had to wait 3. The dealership manager had handled our order personally. This new salesman clearly had no idea what model he was even looking at. I pointed to the law enforcement officers from the Bureau of Commerce standing outside. Why don't we ask the professionals who this car belongs to? Chapter 2. The moment Aiden saw the officers, he started spouting nonsense, trying to talk his way out of it. The officers ignored him. I handed them the sales contract and the paid invoice. The documents proved we had ordered and paid for the car 3 months ago. The officer looked coldly at the arrogant Aiden. This gentleman has already paid for the vehicle. Your current actions constitute robbery. Aiden said indignantly, I already told you whatever it costs, I'm willing to add another $1 million. The officer looked up at him, exasperated. The law clearly states that using violence or threats to forcibly buy or sell goods is a serious offense, punishable by up to 3 years in prison. In particularly serious cases, it's 3 to 7 years. If you continue this unreasonable behavior, this becomes a criminal matter, and we will involve the police. Aiden finally shut his mouth. The salesman tried to placate him with a fawning smile. This car isn't available, but we can find you another one. I'll deliver it to your home personally. My son glanced at the two of them. He just test drove my car and smashed it up. I don't want a new car that's been tainted with such bad luck. The salesman's face lit up. He turned to Aiden. But Aiden didn't want it either. He shouted, What is this nonsense? He wants it, he gets it, he doesn't want it, I'm stuck with it. If you don't want it, I don't want it either. Aiden's streaming team was still filming, and many onlookers had their phones out, recording the whole scene. Well, this is great. A minute ago, everyone wanted it. Now nobody does. Didn't that Aiden guy say his girlfriend is some big shot CEO? If he's so rich, why doesn't he just buy it? Yeah, he's pretty famous online, has a huge following. I heard his girlfriend is his #1 financial supporter. I had to laugh, though it was a humorless, angry sound. For the past few years, the company had been running smoothly under a professional management team I'd put in place. I had stepped back to focus on Leo during his final year of high school. My wife had insisted on having a nominal title at the company. I never imagined she would embezzle so much money for this toy boy. With so many people watching, Aiden was backed into a corner. He nodded impatiently. Fine. Looks like I'm getting shaken down by a couple of scroungers today. This piece of junk is worth $5 million at most. My card has $50 million on it, enough to buy 10 of your crappy cars. Run the card. As he pulled out his black card, someone in the crowd gasped. Whoa, that kind of card requires verification of liquid assets, not just net worth. You need an annual cash flow of over $10 billion to get one. To have a net worth in the billions at such a young age, that's incredible. The salesman was now sweating profusely. He took the card reverently. Sir, you've saved me in ancient times. You would have been a noble knight, so wealthy and so generous, a true hero. In the making, buoyed by the praise, Aiden's ego swelled even more. He waved a hand magnanimously. Tonight, drinks are on me for everyone here after work. We're all going to the bar. The crowd cheered. Aiden turned to us and said with a sneer, See, he who understands the times is a wise man. You keep this up, and you'll be a sales prodigy one day, he said to the salesman. Unlike some scroungers who live their whole lives to own a starter Rolls Royce and think they've made it. The crowd was buzzing. It's good to be rich. He talks about $5 million like it's $500. The top elites get whatever they want. That father and son are so short-sighted. They should have just given him the car and made a powerful connection. Some people even started asking Aiden for financial advice. Amid the chorus of flattery, I handed the purchase invoice to the salesman. Fine. The total is $55 million. You can go ahead and charge the card. Hearing this, Aiden didn't even turn his head. He just spat on the ground. Did you secretly add a 0 to the invoice yourself? There's no such thing as a $55 million car. Let me tell you, that's extortion. That's a jailable offense. Don't think I don't know the law. The onlookers also started advising me. You two know when to quit. He's offering you $5 million, that's more than enough. Don't be too greedy. I heard Oceanic Group has its own security detail of retired special police. If you push this too far, you might not make it home in one piece. I looked at the salesman. You have a record of the transaction in your system, don't you? The salesman hurried to his computer to check the back-end data. His eyes went wide, and his legs turned to jelly. It's true, the salesman exclaimed. This car is really 55 million Chapter 3. When the surrounding customers heard my car was worth 55 million, their expressions changed instantly. So cars that cost over 50 million actually exist. It turns out this father and son are the real deal. Didn't the son say his dad makes millions in minutes? It was all true.
They're so understated.
You'd never guess they were that wealthy and that young streamer. The money in his account can't even buy one of their cars, and he was still showing off. The salesman glanced at me timidly. I curved my lips into a smirk. Pay up. 55 million, not a penny less. Aiden's face twitched, but he quickly regained his arrogant composure. Fine, I'll call my girlfriend. I'll have her transfer the money. He immediately pulled out his phone and made the call. Soon the line connected, and my wife Victoria's voice came through loud and clear. After he hung up, a triumphant grin returned to Aiden's face. So what if it's 55 million? My girlfriend said she's sending me 100 million right now. The moment he finished speaking, my phone rang. It was Victoria. I don't care where you are or what you're doing, she barked. Transfer $100 million to me right now, I replied calmly. I'm with our son, picking up his car. Whatever it is, we can talk about it later. Victoria wouldn't let it go. Sincere Donovan, are you trying to end our marriage? Leo is already off to college, so... Before she could finish, I hung up, my lips pressed into a thin line. I couldn't hide the murderous rage in my eyes. Ever since she married me, I had given her everything she wanted. If she wanted money, I gave her money. If she wanted a career, I gave her a business. When she proved incapable of running it, I let her keep a title as a figurehead. I had done everything for her, and in return she used my money to keep Aiden Cole. I scoffed and immediately sent a message to my company's legal department. Per the prenuptial agreement, draft divorce papers. I want Victoria Blackwood to leave with nothing. After I hung up, Victoria relentlessly called my phone. I just turned it off. Before long, Aiden held up his phone. See, the money's here. He was smug again as he transferred the payment to the salesman, who let out a huge sigh of relief. The salesman then refunded my initial payment. Seeing the transfer go through only fueled my anger. Even with her supplementary card frozen, my wife still had access to this much cash. I couldn't begin to imagine how much she had embezzled from Oceanic Group during the years I was hands-off. Having spent 55 million on a damaged car, Aiden was in a sour mood and tried to leave with his team. Just then I blocked his path. That supplementary card belongs to my wife. Where did you get it? The crowd, which had started to disperse, rushed back to watch the new development. Aiden was furious. Don't you dare slander me. This card was a gift from my girlfriend to buy a car, he shouted. You people are outrageous. I'm calling my girlfriend right now, and I'll make sure you two can never show your faces in this city again. He made a call, and a few minutes later a convoy of black Maybachs pulled up. My wife Victoria stepped out of one, dressed in a tight black skirt and high heels. Aiden stood at the entrance of the dealership to ensure she would see him first. As expected, her eyes landed on him immediately. She rushed to his side, took his hand, and asked anxiously, "Who dared to bully you?" "I'll take care of them for you." The more I watched, the angrier I got. How did I end up marrying such a floozy? Every time Leo had a parent-teacher conference, she was too busy to attend. But when Aiden got into trouble, she was here in less than 15 minutes. When Leo saw his mother holding Aiden's hand, he gritted his teeth in fury. "Dad, that is not my mother." I could only try to keep him calm, telling him not to be rash. Seeing Victoria in person, the crowd erupted. "I can't believe the CEO of Oceanic Group is such a beauty. I hear she's a brilliant businesswoman, too, and Aiden Cole is so young and handsome. They're a match made in heaven." After soaking in the compliments, Aiden wrapped an arm around Victoria, pointed at my son and me, and whined, "It's those two, they're completely unreasonable. They tried to steal my car and even claimed the card you gave me was theirs. Honey, you have to deal with them. I never want to see their faces again." Victoria's voice dripped with menace. Who had the gall to bully my man? Following Aiden's accusation, Victoria pushed through the crowd and finally saw us. The anger on her face instantly turned to shock. "Sincere, what are you doing here?" She quickly walked over and whispered in my ear, "Sincere, this is a huge misunderstanding. He's a very popular influencer, and I'm planning to expand into the entertainment industry. I'll need his help. This must have been a mistake on your part. Just apologize to him so everyone can save face, and we'll let this go." I shoved her away and deliberately raised my voice. "Apologize? Why should I apologize to him? He tried to steal your son's car and used our family's credit card, and you want us to apologize? And maybe you want to explain where the money he just spent came from?" More and more people in the mall had heard the CEO of Oceanic Group was here and rushed over to see her. Now they were getting a front row seat to some major drama. The crowd swelled, and some people even started new live streams. What's going on here? This guy dares to question the CEO of Oceanic Group. Did he just ask her where her money came from? That's men for you. At home, they want to control their own wives. Out in public, they want to control other people's wives. Victoria never imagined I would humiliate her so publicly. My son's eyes were filled with nothing but contempt for her, but she seemed completely unfazed. She straightened her clothes and said, "I was just trying to give you an out. Since you refuse my kindness, don't blame me for being ruthless." Leo seethed. "Are you even human?" A cold light flashed in my eyes. I swung my arm and slapped her hard across the face twice. I pointed a finger at her nose and yelled, "Victoria Blackwood, is there a single thing on you that wasn't bought with my money? You're going to be ruthless with me. How exactly are you going to do that?" Victoria and I had been together since high school. I had always cherished and tolerated her. I had never laid a hand on her, never even raised my voice. She clutched her face, looking at me in utter disbelief. The crowd held its breath. No one could believe they had just witnessed the CEO of Oceanic Group get slapped. They whispered among themselves, "It's over. I can already see the headlines tomorrow, father and son found dead." No way. A scandal like this involving a powerful family will definitely be suppressed. Not suppressed. More like, family mysteriously disappears, dismembered bodies found kind of news. But I don't think it's that simple. I feel like I've seen that man somewhere before. And anyone who can drop $55 million on a car for his son can't be a nobody. Seeing his meal ticket get hit, Aiden immediately stepped up. "You bastard, you dare hit my woman? I'll kill you." I sent him flying with a single kick. What's the use of being young when your body's been hollowed out by booze and women? All show and no go. What a waste. Seeing Aiden on the ground, I turned back to Victoria and said sternly, "Victoria, are you still not going to tell everyone the truth?" But Victoria didn't even glance at me or our son. She rushed to Aiden's side to check his injuries. She glared at me viciously. "Sincere, you hit me, and then you hit him. You're just shameless then." She took Aiden's hand, turned to the crowd, and announced, "This father and son are madmen. Someone please, call the police for us. I'm going to make them pay." Leo stared at Victoria in disbelief, his eyes turning red. His own mother was disowning him and his father, calling them madmen. Nothing could be more heartbreaking. People in the crowd fumbled for their phones to call the police. Victoria walked elegantly back to me and whispered again, "Sincere, you told me you loved me more than anything. Why are you embarrassing me in front of all these people? Can't you just back down for my sake? When we get home, you can do whatever you want to me." I looked coldly at the shameless woman before me. "Since you chose to be unfaithful, don't blame me for being merciless. I've already notified the legal department. We're getting a divorce today." To my surprise, Victoria calmly replied, If you want a divorce so badly, fine. We'll file the papers, but I want my fair share of the assets. I sneered internally. I knew her game. Although we had a prenup, my income during our marriage was substantial. She thought she could walk away with a huge chunk of my fortune and run off with Aiden. But I replied nonchalantly, "Fine, we'll do it your way." She didn't suspect a thing. Her eyes only filled with more contempt for me. She had no idea that the moment I discovered her affair, I had already instructed my lawyers to transfer all liquid assets. What couldn't be transferred, I had funneled into new project investments. If she wanted to divide our assets, all she would get was a mountain of debt. By now, several onlookers were live-streaming the entire event on their phones. This guy is brave, hitting the CEO of Oceanic Group. But got to say, she's a stunning woman. One streamer told his viewers, "That's not brave. That's domestic abuse hitting a woman. Is he even a man? I bet this father is the boss of some small company. I'm calling on everyone to boycott his products. Don't work for a capitalist like that. Let his company go bankrupt. And his products rot in the factory." With so many people spreading misinformation, the adulterous pair were quickly painted as the victims. They cried to the cameras about how I had bullied them. I just sneered. In a few moments I would show them what real bullying looked like. Before long, mall security guards were running outside to greet a new convoy. The dealership receptionist took a call, looking puzzled. "Our boss's security detail is coming to the mall today?" That's strange. Suddenly, dozens of top-of-the-line luxury cars pulled up, filled with men in black suits. The customers in the mall buzzed with excitement again. That father and son really picked the wrong people to mess with. Once her bodyguards get in there, they're going to be torn to shreds. We should stand back. Don't want to get splattered with blood. Aiden's face was alight with joy. He looked at Victoria with adoration. "Are all these people yours? I never knew I was so important to you, I swear. I will love only you for the rest of my life. Even if you stop loving me, I'll still love you from now on. Your wish is my command." I could have spat. Victoria really saw herself as a princess, keeping a harem of men. Hearing that the CEO had called in her bodyguards, the crowd's excitement grew even more. They hurled insults at my son and me. Leo was furious. "I don't have such a disgraceful mother," I kept comforting him, telling him it would all be over soon. But Victoria wasn't paying attention to any of them. Her gaze shot past the crowd, her eyes pleading with me. She might not be afraid of the police, but she was definitely afraid of these men. This security detail was composed of retired special police officers I had hired at great expense. She knew exactly how formidable they were, but it was too late. My 10 cars worth of bodyguards stormed in, surrounding the dealership. Aiden, still clueless, even tried to command them. "Quick, go beat up that father and son. They're completely out of control. They even said the card I have was stolen," he shouted. "From now on, you'll take orders from me too. I'm your boss's husband." Before he could finish his sentence, a bodyguard sent him to the floor with a kick. When he tried to get up, the guard planted a foot on his chest, pinning him down. I strode over and slapped him twice. "You sleep with my woman, spend my money, and now you want to command my bodyguards? I've never seen anyone so shameless. What are your hands for? Get a job so young and already trying to be a kept man. Have you no shame? Today I'm going to teach you the lesson your parents never did." I waved a hand. "Leave him breathing." 2 bodyguards immediately descended on him, beating him relentlessly. I let out a cold snort and walked over to Victoria. I only had to look at her, and she started trembling like a leaf. Tears streamed down her face. "Honey, I was wrong. I promise I'll be a good wife from now on. I'll break off all contact with him. I'm begging you, please let me go. In the past I would have softened. Now I just slapped her again, hard. So now you know you were wrong? A minute ago you wanted to call the police. Go on, call them. You disowned your own son for a toy boy. Are you even a human being?" Victoria seemed to suddenly remember our son. "Yes, we have a son. I'm Leo's mother. He can't live without a mother." She looked at Leo, expecting him to run to her like he did when he was little, but Leo was grown now. He completely ignored her. I had raised him all these years. Victoria's motherly love had always been absent. Seeing all this, the crowd finally understood. So that man was telling the truth. Victoria Blackwood is his wife. He's the real head of Oceanic Group. So Victoria was trying to help her lover bully her own husband and son? Victoria, cornered, suddenly shrieked at me, "Don't be fooled by him. He's just a live-in son-in-law. He's trying to usurp the family fortune and take everything from me." I turned and saw that someone was still live-streaming. Aiden, who had been beaten to a pulp, managed to prop himself up. "Everyone help us, call the police. This man is trying to murder the CEO of Oceanic Group to steal her assets." I calmly walked in front of the camera. "Good call them. These two scoundrels have squandered so much of our marital property, and I want every single cent back." Then I turned and slapped Victoria's beautiful face again. I must have been blind before, captivated only by her pretty shell, never realizing what a vicious woman she was. Then I delivered a swift kick to Aiden. I faced the camera. "Let's wait for the police. I'd love to see how I supposedly married into the Blackwood family." The police arrived quickly. Victoria and Aiden were taken into custody. Aiden was confused. They were the ones doing the hitting. Why am I being arrested? I pulled out a list of his expenses that was longer than a roll of toilet paper. "Because you're in debt. All of this was our shared marital property. Pay it back now or you're going to prison." He panicked and yelled at Victoria, "Honey, please save me. You gave me that money willingly. It has nothing to do with me." Victoria had no time for him. She could barely save herself. Realizing I wouldn't help her, as the police led her away, she dropped to her knees like a madwoman at our son's feet. "Leo, Mommy's begging you, please, talk to your father for me. I'm begging you. Don't you love Mommy the most?" Leo's face was a mask of indifference. He clearly could not forgive his own mother for siding with a stranger to bully him. I pulled my son into an embrace and left her with one final sentence: "You reap what you sow." The police chief, Miller, was an old university classmate of mine. He personally cleared my name in front of the online audience. He is Mr. Sincere Donovan, the true owner of Oceanic Group. His family has been a line of patriotic red businessmen since his grandfather's time, making significant donations to the country every year. There is no way he would need to usurp Victoria Blackwood's assets. This Victoria Blackwood comes from a humble background. There's nothing wrong with that, but you can't keep a lover on the side. And to help that lover harm your own husband and son to the point of disowning your child when he calls you mom, it's despicable. The online community was outraged. I knew I'd seen Mr. Donovan somewhere before. It was in a financial magazine that Victoria Blackwood is so shameless, pretending to be some kind of strong businesswoman. I spit on her. I know about her. Her mother was the Donovan family's nanny. She only got to know the young master because she was always hanging around their house as a kid, a Cinderella who became a princess and didn't know how to appreciate it. Had to keep a toy boy. What a disgrace suddenly, Victoria snapped. She broke free from the police, grabbed a knife from somewhere. My bodyguards immediately formed a wall around my son and me, but she turned and lunged at Aiden Cole, screaming hysterically, "It's all your fault, you seduced me." She stabbed him in the abdomen. No one expected her to attack him, so no one moved to protect him. He suffered multiple stab wounds. The police immediately subdued Victoria and took her away. Aiden was rushed away by an ambulance. The car salesman's legs had given out. He walked toward me, his head hung low. "Mr. Donovan, I'm so sorry. I know I was wrong." I shook my head. "This is an internal management issue for your company, not my problem. I've recorded everything that happened today and sent it to your corporate headquarters. Their decision is final." With everything settled, I took my son home. In the end, Victoria Blackwood was sentenced to 3 years in prison for intentional assault. Aiden survived, but he was left permanently sterile. He still owed me a fortune, so he had no choice but to work the nightclub circuit as a gigolo to pay it back. The car salesman was fired. He kept protesting his innocence, shouting, "They were both important clients, but there was only one car." What was I supposed to do? The scandal spread so fast online that he could no longer find work in the city. and ended up going back to his hometown to farm. My son got a new Bugatti. He said he never wanted to see a Rolls Royce again in his life.